Good evening then, my fellow friends. It's I, KaneFan701, just doing a little bit of a random streaming earlier tonight. And let me tell you, it's absolutely just been baking, boiling, and absolutely hot around here. Even right now, despite it's nighttime, it is literally just like burning like hell. You know, literally it is. Oh man, it literally is like really hot over here. Been 23 degrees. 23 degrees Fahrenheit, and let me just tell you, I'm absolutely just sweating like hell. I mean, that isn't going to get any worse. On Sunday, you know, on Sunday of this week, it's going to be the hottest, of the week for the UK. It'll be 26 degrees this Sunday. Um, oh boy, it's really going to be something. I know that, yeah, killing Red and Bad 2009. That is the same. That's the first thing that comes to my mind every time summer comes. You know, that's the only place we can cool down and stand and to withstand the heat. But I've just been drinking a lot. No, I'm talking about in heat wise, man. Damn, 23 degrees is hot, man. Over here, I've been I have to take a lot of liquids and drinking up a bit more because that's the only way I can get through this. It's almost impossible to have a hot meal and you know and just it's hard to have something hot while it's in the heat, and it can just be rapidly too much. And to the point where what can you do? You have to drink more and eat less, and that's currently what I've been doing all day long. I caught the sun, got a little burns, and I'm always shredding my skin already due to where the heat's gotten me. And what else can I say? It literally has just been an absolute boiling hot day. Despite all that, I've actually kind of, well, I wouldn't say today hasn't been quite a good day, but like I said, hot tempers flaring, abusing this and, all the shenanigans that some people do. But yeah, it kind of was a bit of a rough start, but besides that, I've got guys like you that really know how to cool things down and make things easier, you know. I'm not sure what to do tonight, but it's just a random stream I thought I'd do just to see what's going on and just to try and pass the timing, until the next one will come up. So nothing special on tonight's streaming, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, if anybody wants to come in, I'll just send the link and try and keep me going because I won't be on for too long with this one. It'll only be for a short one. And of course, I'm going to try and go in a much more positive direction that I have ever done, and I'm kind of a little confident in myself that this is going to work out nicely. So here's the link for anybody who wants to come in. Here you go. So if I sound a little bit tight there, guys, I'm just so unbothered that it's literally, you know, just trying to keep myself away because this is really difficult times. Hey, the Sligo Studio, welcome in, man. Like a, it's just, Yeah, I'm good. I'm just literally just, hot and bothered and just trying to continue going. But it's just been, at the
Yeah.
moment, it has been the hottest day so far in the UK. It's been 23 degrees over here. It's been hotter elsewhere, but in my area, it's been the hottest for me so far. And like I said earlier, it'll be 26 this Saturday. I mean, this
Yeah.
Sunday, it'll be way too hot then. I mean, I've been in hotter places, but I mean, to the UK to prepare for a mini heat wave. And I'm
And here,
trying to stay awake as possible, but like I said, I've got to drink more, but this is becoming like, a very, oh yeah, it's been like a very, unbearable night in terms of like, because it's just so hot and I'm trying to keep cool and keep my compassion, otherwise the heat gets me a little bit intense and, hot tempered as well, as I've had to today, a lot of things, when I'm trying to enjoy, and then you got nuttleheads apparently that just try and screw up and they, ugh, it's just been one of them days, man.
yeah, not that I was my. Well, I had to work today, so yeah.
Oh, God, blimey.
Yeah, and it's been the 80s here.
Hmm. Well, back in 2012, when I went to America, when I went to Kansas, they had a severe heat wave of 90 degrees. I don't know how I was able to withstand it.
Heat wave of 90. It can get over 100 here in summers.
Oh, of course. I'm aware of that. I've been in Dubai, Tunisia, and everything else.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
hottest it's ever been here is 112.
like I said, I'm just saying it's really intense. That's the only thing. That's one of the things I don't like about summer.
Yeah, yeah, I'm more of a winter guy too.
Hmm. Don't get me wrong. I love the summer sunshine. If it blows a bit, and then you go to like the only thing I like about it is if you went to the coastline or relax on the beach and just enjoy the sunshine that way, or just go somewhere for a good swim, or just
Yeah,
do anything just to keep yourself moving and active while trying to withstand the heat. That's okay. Like go to some cool environments or whatnot. It's just going to be quite tricky due to the fact that we're still in a pandemic, but if anybody's got like a back swimming pool in their back garden, then there should be no trouble. Especially if you're living down in Florida.
I used to have one in Crestwood, south side of Chicago, but now I have is a hot tub here.
Well, they should do what's called a cool one instead. Do the alternative, make an alternative, so you
Yeah.
can actually change the heating.
Well, it's super hot here during the days, and then it returns to a much more comfortable 60 or 50 degrees at night.
Ugh. But either ways, that's just the thing for me. In any cases, even though I have a nice cool warm shower to get the heat off me did kind of work. But then again, I mean, it's really, really good that having the summer around you, because that's where usually a lot of magical and cool things can happen. And a strange sense of nostalgia can sometimes kick in, even when you have loved ones who aren't with us anymore or anything else. I don't know why. I've been getting this lately for a couple of years, where there's something that you remember way back in the day, and then it's kind of plays on your mind. You feel like you've just gone back in time and you're reliving something. I've been getting this now for a couple of years, and I'm not saying it's scary, but it kind of does make me really feel like at times I have had that kind of feeling as of late. I just if there's one thing I love to try and do is to try and go to some places that I'd love to go to. Like who knows what will happen? Like hopefully if it's when it's a lot more safer, despite the fact that we've got this Indian pandemic in the UK that threatens to look us back into lockdown again. I'm hoping to return back to the Severn Valley Railway and just enjoy a nice summer's day out. That's what I'm trying to aim for, maybe for next month, perhaps. If we are allowed a bit further and it's a lot safer, because after that point, I might get my next vaccine, so I'm scheduled for next month to have. I'm not too sure what the aftermath will be like and everything else.
Now they plan on reopening Michigan in July, so yeah, just another month for us.
What does that mean? In Michigan, what do you mean by that? You got a train event coming up there or something?
The whole quarantine, it's a state-by-state basis.
Ah, oh, I see. Christopher Slight had decided to pop in at long last. I just finally noticed. I was too busy focused talking to you. I didn't know he was there. I guess it's the heat's playing on my mind a lot too. Hang on a second. Just get myself at bay. Oh, blimey. I mean, I know putting the fans one thing, but we don't want to waste electricity.
Yeah.
They should make some wireless ones. You know, like the white, like, you know, a wireless fan, so you can actually turn it any on you like.
Yeah, that's one of those things they really should create up there with the something that prevents you from sending a drunk text
Yeah. Or
and
I don't mind
our
the fans.
manslayer.
Yeah, I don't mind fans when they spin around and round and round.
Yeah.
However, though, I always get the funny feeling that if anyone is going to fall down and just chop downwards sometimes when they swim, when you actually see them swaying around. But that can also work as well, and have plenty of air conditioning as well. But the only downside is you don't want the bloody bugs to get into your house because that's when they're most active, and that's another thing I hate about summer. But then again, they're just a part of the human environment as we are. But at the same time, none of us can win on that one. Okay, hang on. Let me just get Christopher in. Let me just get myself prepared. Oh, blimey. I think the heat's really causing me to act a bit weird. I won't say I'm not drunk or whatever, but geez, that heat's really killing the shit out of me. Look, I hate the wasps, but at the same time, I'm more concerned about the, well, not really, I just don't want to have too many spiders involved. But then again, they capture a lot of the bugs and leave all the things that they have behind, so they're much more useful than bad. But at the same time, they're not as bad. But at the same time, they do catch most of the bugs and they get a lot of the bacteria in them, apparently, and less much of a bad habit than something good. Less of a bad habit and more of a good environment to have because they catch all the insects or all the bits and bobs.
Yeah. Well, in the UK, that is definitely true, but
They do, yeah.
in the US and Australia, there's a reason why we had to ban that episode of Peppa Pig.
I get you. But don't worry. If you got any non-deadly spiders, you're more than welcome to keep them in. Keep them in. You know, if they catch any bugs or whatnot, then you got them.
Yeah, except for the fact I'm deathly afraid of spiders.
Well, the thing is, the truth is, like, they're more scared of us than we are them, to be honest. So who should be scared of it? Here's another thing. Here's one way to beat it. Think of Spider-Man from Marvel. That's one way to counter it.
I've been trying for 23 years unsuccessfully.
Well,
you know how you just have that one fear that you'll just never get rid of?
I know, but here's the thing. Apparently, tarantulas that I know of, like the big ones that we all have as pets, thing is, they're actually, they may bite us, but their venom isn't strong enough to kill us. You know, they're actually testing their venom, and it could be used for a new drug test for a testament of brain disease and heart tumor and whatnot, and they could actually save our lives if you think about it.
I have no doubt that they are useful.
So yeah,
and they play an important role in the ecosystem. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying I'm not comfortable around them.
Well, let's be honest. If you get like a New World tarantula, like the ones that have the urticating hairs on them, the ones where they kick off at times, you're better off with those ones because they're more likely to do that than give you the infamous threat buster. You know, at times. And if you get, I think the best ones that that you would confront your fear with are the ones that are very docile, like the Tresillian Rose, which is my all-time favorite one, and of course what's the one? Oh yeah, the Arizona Blonde is another popular one, which is a mostly harmless one, and you got and one that's one of my favourites, although it reminds me of another one. Then in this is going to sound weird. It's also one of the biggest. It's the Brazilian black tarantula, they're slow growers, but they're actually good beginners. And it was funny because every time I saw a darker coloured tarantula, especially if it was a black one, I used to think that they were poisonous. Like dark and that stuff, and it's like, oh god. Like
You think you're gonna start talking about this? I'm having a little PTSD flashbacks.
Well, it was hilarious actually but at the same time they're okay anyways. But they're slow growers though, and they're very expensive from what I've heard in the pet trade. So they're very, very hard. Very hard to come and get, but they're pretty good. Not bad for beginners from what I've heard. But like I said, the other two I was talking about, they're very popular and mostly harmless. So they're the best ones that you can come face to face with, because I'm attempting to come face to face with one and have one try and crawl over and see what happens, and then that will be it. My phobia will be cured. I mean, I have no trouble looking at them and watching them or anything because
I can't even look at them. That's how severe it is.
Well, just be thankful you don't come across the old worlds, because they're the ones that give you the most, bad reputation. The old worlds. I think the one you better watch out for mostly is the Thailand Black one, which is the one that if you think of Thailand Black, you think of the one from Exile Liar, who was my favorite tarantula YouTuber. He has a bunch of crazy tarantulas, new and old, and it's amazing. I mean, it's hilarious when he tricks his mate.
Definitely never gonna watch one of his videos.
Oh yeah, well, it's funny though, because if you watch his watering videos, it's hilarious, especially when Miss Thailand Black, he's grabbing on the water dishes and it's like as if it's saying like let go, this or that. It's funny actually. Despite it looks aggressive at times, it's just hilarious It's just hilarious to watch, especially how he reacts.
Yeah, I will take dragonflies over spiders any day.
Now, they're just a bunch of nuisances, the flies and everything. They're their most favorite prey thing. But things with me,
the dragonflies eat mosquitoes, so
I'm okay with dragonflies. They're awesome. Yeah. Butterflies and whatnot. I hate mosquitoes though.
That's why I prefer them for the bug eaters over spiders. I'm not scared of dragonflies, but for some reason I'm just scared of arachnids.
Well, I'm kind of intrigued by what they are, to be honest. But like I said, with me, trust me slightly on this one. What I'm just referring to now is that I'm okay with smaller ones, but when it comes to the bigger ones like the daddy long legs or whatnot, I've come across a few of them. When the thing is, I just try and get them when they're on the run and then they go in. But the things with me, I tend to not mess with the big ones because I respect them. And if it's a female, trust me, I do not dare mess with any of them. But I've had a couple of ones where they have tried to make a stand to fight me. I had to deal with one 3 times who wouldn't give up, and it was hilarious. But I was like, really? And I wasn't even backing down. And I was like, okay, if this is what he wanted, And I got rid of it. I wouldn't kill him, but I would actually just get rid of him. But there was that one time I dealt with 2 of them once. And they were obviously 2 males looking for a female, and I actually got rid of them both. And thankfully, they didn't put much of a fight because they were, too busy looking around. But that was really cool. Thankfully, there's been no webbing and there's been no nests. There's been no this or that. But thankfully, that's just the thing. But when it comes to the big ones and the ones that jump pretty quick, I have to let my mom and dad deal with that because I don't mess with those ones that are very arboreal types. Okay. That's just me.
We can switch to the trains or the engines.
It's funny because speaking of trains, I will admit, despite I love steam engines, I used to be afraid of the hissing steam and the loud whistles. I used to be whistle phobic. That's a bit weird, but yeah, because of my sensitive to hearing at the time.
Yeah, let me guess, something to do with autism.
Yeah, well, you do know I am.
Fireworks because of that.
Not really. It's because I wasn't used to, like everybody reacts, is the high whistling and the loud steam, and it's that loud. It's not as loud as you hear on television, but it's completely different when you see it up close and personal. But I'm kind of like still got that in me. But the thing is, I tend to be back away or not sure because it's almost like these steam engines are alive in character as a human being, whereas if it's watching you, it's strange. It's not quite the same as it was when I was growing up anymore. It's kind of different.
Yeah, I read that it's actually the most organic sound from any machine can create is the sound of a steam engine.
Oh, of course, it doesn't. I know diesel and electric and whatnot have their own personalities, but with steam, there's something about it that you can't describe. I hear about this every time. Every generation talks about it. It's so weird. But nowadays, I just kind of like can't help but look back and watch as if it's like watching me or whatnot. But either ways, I know we're going through different topic and everything slowly. You just got to understand when there's a topic I talk about, you know I'm going to focus on it. But anyways, besides that, I'm just hoping things will go well, and hopefully 2021 will be a lot more better as we progress. Because I have a funny feeling we might have an intriguing summer. By the way things are going, as long as no shenanigans and no more BS and no more fighting and whatnot happens, because I literally am up to my throat with a lot of things I'm seeing in the newspapers and whatnot with humanity and everything, and it does seem like I've made a good positive turn with what I've been dealing with lately, and it does seem like I've done extremely well.
Yeah.
Hey guys. Oh, Thomas Crossbell's there, CJ Jones. I know you guys are there.
The good news is I cleaned started cleaning out, and I refound my the models that my relatives gave to me, my model engines.
I've still got mine. I've still had mine from childhood and it's still there.
Yeah.
Yes, Roger. Roger, I see you down there, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't think I see you there, mate. Don't worry.
Except for mine are rare because of the only way to get them was for the railroad that my father, great Uncle John, and great Aunt Karen used to work for. Yeah, it was a whole back in 1996. They gave them as a centennial gift for safety awards.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna get Roger in.
Okay. It's
Oh,
not.
Roger's there. Hey, Roger, I'll get you in, buddy.
Hey guys.
I was gonna think about it. I'm not gonna be on for too much long, or whatever the case may be, depending on what's going on, because I'm near the time limit restrictions. But I do have some new streams in the future still waiting to pop in. Like I said, and Chris is coming in, and I think it's time we introduce him now. So here we go. It's time. I mean, Chris has been talking to me numerous times. Now it's time for him to finally make his debut in my streaming. So here we go. The long wait has finally arrived. Hello there, Christopher Slide. Welcome on board. It's an honor to have you on for the first time.
How's everyone doing?
All
Okay.
coping well. A nice face reveal as well. All coping well. Spot this intense heat. Oh, Katie Jones has just popped in too. Yep, mate. So anyways, guys, how are things coping up on your ends anyway? Despite how it's been. Yeah.
Let's turn the air down a little bit, Roger, because it's 77 in here.
I'm boring.
Turn it to 68.
Despite the fact of being very heritage this morning, you can tell I got my British UK cap on.
I know.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Midwest. We got the heat of the South, and we got the coldness of the North.
And we Brits get a bunch of all kinds of US and weird European weather because we're smack dabbed.
Was it cold last night?
And then usually in Scotland it's rain, and more rain.
And snow sometimes, who knows?
Why is this not? Oh my
You
god.
I've actually never been to England, but I have been to Scotland.
Because you keep holding the power button, Mom.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I people can judge me for this one, but I don't really. It's not really much of a bother. I always feel that Scotland's always been a part of who we are in the UK, despite being the north of England. Okay, and they sometimes will tell you sometimes an old saying: it's always very grim up north. Even though I'm not trying to cast aspersions on God's green country, on God's country, as they sometimes call it, but it's a true thing about us here in the UK.
Well, ancestrally, I come from everywhere in the UK except for England.
Well, okay. Yeah, but like I said, that's just how it is. With me, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see who else. Yeah.
Scotland, very nice. Northern Ireland would never go back.
I like Northern Ireland. I have no problem with the Irish.
Well, I mean, Belfast was nice, but Londonderry, they're still fighting.
I know. Despite the Irish and our British problems at the time, as past tense, but there's something they don't want to let go of. But I just don't really give a damn. I still love the Irish for what they are, for what they can do. I just ignore the negative in them. For those that do all the wrong and whatnot.
When you get home to work, you gotta be ready to go.
That's them stuck in the past of what we used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
They can't handle it. That's their problem, not us.
Well, that's why I'm not a big fan of Winston Churchill.
Hey.
Well,
me-
there's an issue.
Well, let's not. Well,
got nothing.
Sorry,
well,
it's
well,
I lost
Well,
a couple of relatives during the whole Irish Revolution in 1919.
well, we don't have a political issue, okay? Listen, despite what you might think of Churchill, I've always supported him all the way. After all, he was the one who would eventually say the infamous words of sinking Bismarck in World War II, which we Brits did
I didn't
do
say
eventually.
he wasn't a good leader. I really do think he was the only guy capable of, getting England through World War II. At the same
And he was
time, I'm sick of always seeing him as this 100% unfailable, unflawed person.
I don't think he was.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I know, but it gets
They
treated
were all
like that.
flawed at one point or another.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like he meant to. Heck, we have our preserved steam engine that was named in his honor, who pulled his funeral train for crying out loud. So basically,
I
that's
can all agree Oliver Cromwell was awful.
well. But hey, Oliver Cromwell was Britain's very first dictator. Although he's better off more remembered as a steam engine rather than a human being, which I think is a better thing for us people. Remember him by the engine, not by the man himself, which I think is a better way to counter.
It did also do one of the most effective genocides there was, so there's that.
But then again, I don't know how bad Cromwell was, to be honest. Because I hear very little about.
In 4 years, 40% of Ireland was just gone. 400,000 killed, another 200,000 starved to death after his campaigns, another 20,000 Scots killed as well, and 60,000 or so sold into slavery.
Well, then again, me being between the good and evil, I kind of think like, maybe Cromwell put the Irish in their place. Don't mess with the Brits. Otherwise the dark side of us comes out.
Yeah,
They may
except
be
for the
wrong.
fact that he also turned on his Scottish allies helping him.
Oh, of course, Well, any of us would have done
Okay.
anything would have done anything back in those days. Back then I kind of had no trouble with it. I don't know why, but with me, heck, I would have, if I was in control of England, I probably would do a bit of dictating here and there. But again, for a good cause. Like, say if I was, a what if? Say if I don't know.
I
Say
just
if
have
I
to
was,
say, there's a bit of a difference between, breaking the spirit of a people and exterminating people.
that's the thing. I wouldn't break the spirit of people, but exterminating is something I probably would aim for mostly. I would exterminate the evilness. Like, with me, I would make life, if I was in
How
charge, say if I was
impulsive are
in
you?
Churchill's shoes, or if I had a bit of Oliver Cromwell in me, I would do it to make England a lot better and safer. But the downward spiral is I'd make it better for autism people more, so that they can get more familiar, more recognition, more support, and much more love and care and the help physically that they need. Okay.
Yeah.
And for those who go against, and tease autism people, regardless of what they do, it's the, on the chopping block, as they would say, because that would
As
be
long as there is freedom of religion, that's an issue.
Oh, that's one thing, and that is something I'm very against. Religion is something that I was never brought up with. I may be a Christian, and I do believe in God, but I'm not religious. Okay, I don't go by the book.
I don't. I'm not I'm not the devout religious guy either, but I believe everyone should have the freedom to do so if they choose.
I
Yeah,
agree
but
with that.
Did you have to pay that
Yeah,
now?
but they don't want to use religion. But the thing is, I don't like religion for the so-called weaponizing that they use it for. Some
Yeah,
go
that-
against, like, oh, I believe God's going
that
to come, blah,
irritates me.
blah, blah, and not that sort of thing. Okay, that's something I'm very against.
Why can't that gambling help?
Even though I go down, like I do sometimes go down and sometimes pray hard in terms of, I don't do it religiously, but I hopefully just to as a way of hope. You know what I'm saying? Not that sort of Yeah, you get my drift, don't you, Sliger?
Yeah, I don't think
I don't
you should try and force conversion, though.
No, but that's the thing, though. I mean, in terms of that would be my way of, because the Bible doesn't always help,
Okay, what now, dear?
whatnot. But besides that and everything else, Broome would be in a much more better situation. Although, like I said, good going here, but a bit of dictating here and there for, it's what I like to call good dictatorshiping, not bad, if you know what I'm referring to. I probably would leave genocide out of the photograph. I mean, out of the picture. I would actually have more steam engines running more often. I would actually let us live in a much more nostalgia
What
time.
is he?
And,
No!
I would let,
He's got my
that we-
insulin.
that's the thing with me. I would kind of have a very old retro style like we had back in the 90s and in the early 80s and in the early 2000s, and like we're here on the internet, we can use what we're doing here, talk broadcasting live, but we don't use the social media as it has been in the last 10 years for this and that, or for trolling and abusing the internet, because that's
Well,
what
he's just
basically
got the bag now.
that's because that's what
No
the internet's
pen.
basically a social media abuse thing, and that's something that should be a criminal penalty thing, for people that use the system. It would be much safer for us, but anybody coming in that would,
Dog.
you know what I mean, to make it like a heavy security system, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to make it safer for us, but so that others don't, make a foolish decision to do anything foolish. But besides all this and that, like I said, it'd be a very, very strange thing if I was in charge of Britain. I would just make it more better for autism people, get the word out there, get them all the help they actually deserve, get them more jobs, And
Stop it, buddy.
And here's another thing I would change.
What would that be?
It would be ridiculous, right? But I would change the way how volunteering would be changed. If any of us did voluntary work and you do something about it, and if you work successfully, you've got something, you can carry on with your passion. And the only thing that's different about it is actually they should get paid for it. You don't volunteer a job and then you go home empty-handed, because if you're successful and you have a passion for it and a lightness towards it, and if you're successful, you found your calling, and that's what I think should be the case. And for people with autism like me and other guys as well, no matter what their form is, all their flaws, regardless, voluntary should be changed, and it should be a payable opportunity, because that's, it doesn't matter how many dollars or money we make, as long as we've got something
Give it up.
to keep going, and rather than just staying here and doing all this thing all the time. You get my drift?
Yeah.
Give people like us a chance and not keep on giving the wrong people the opportunities who don't have gifts, who don't have talent. Because, yes, Christopher, I can see you've got your Dalek thing there, I know. Don't think about exterminating, okay? Not yet.
Exterminate! Exterminate!
My mom absolutely hates the Daleks.
Well, it's fine, I forgot my
Where
bloody
is
Dalek.
it?
It's on the counter.
Yeah, but still, though,
Not me.
okay.
No,
But
not
like I
that
said, though,
I'm-
that's the thing I would think needs changing. Give us guys the opportunity and not be ignored. Well, I know things are tough at the moment, but there should be some room for us to get somewhere, because I'm 30 years of age and I lost my years as a 20 plus whatever it was by getting nowhere. So I came so close to working in the industry of media, and I've found nothing since. And I've tried so many times, and I still am now because I'm that determined. But I just think it's just so
Exterminate.
that guys like myself
Exterminate.
are kind of like
Exterminate.
we're like ignored out of the picture as if we never existed. That's the frustrated level of just and we're never given the opportunity. And this is where I get a little depressed about this quite a lot.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
toss it.
I've been working in,
So what do you think
in
anyway,
the
Slime?
shop in Oxfam a couple of years, and then the pandemic hit, and
I agree with a lot of what you said. There's one big change I would make sure in America is bring back steam. I mean, we're running out of diesel fuel. That is just an issue. And, we're not exactly hurting for coal. And in the Midwest, we are definitely not hurting for water.
Do you think probably if Amtrak stood aside and maybe CSX dropped their guard and got bought out, what would happen then? Do you think steam would have a big chance of rebounding?
mm,
Like, to give them the opportunity to reclaim some of their old territory back.
Yeah. I think if the railroads actually ran things better,
Sorry about that.
they would. I mean, the steam engines, they are very tough. I mean, the diesels at my dad's work, they got the absolute worst thing of there was.
Can't be any worse than the Milwaukee Road.
They got the Milwaukee Road's old stuff.
I stand corrected.
It came from the CSX, Canadian Pacific, and the Milwaukee Road. That is where they got their old stuff from, all their stuff from.
I always thought the Canadian Pacific were a good railroad, just like Canadian Northern or whatever it was, or CPR, or whatever it's called. Why is it that I'm missing out on?
Well, actually, Roger, what they did was they got the Milwaukee's Road's scrap engines.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And the caboose of old piss pot as well.
Or any cabooses as well, as the CCB would say.
Now that isn't until they started phasing them out.
So the Milwaukee Road still uses cabooses?
Not much anymore.
Well, if they have I know they have like the rear end flashy thing at the end sometimes, but I always prefer that if they have a caboose, you got the end of the train. It's much safer because then the guard himself at the back, would have it's just like we Brits still do to this day still.
Yeah, well, they have quite a few yards, but only one yard still uses the caboose, and that is just because it's near a bunch of industries, so it's a whole safety thing.
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
Yeah, if it crashes, it starts a fire, and then the town goes out.
Well,
right?
Kind of like Lock McGante.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bat. I regretted it the minute I said that.
But I completely agree, though.
Why do you think on my fictional CSW railroad I always put cabooses on the end of my trains, no matter what?
Well, that's standard protocol.
Yeah, everything we should do. Imagine if we were living in standard styles in today. I think things would be a lot more easier and less stressing. Even though technology mostly has positives and flaws, but I think the more we progress, I think the more flaws we're getting. It's like with
Amen
aircraft.
to that.
It's like the whole thing with aircraft technology. I mean, the technology we've come with so far is amazing, but I think we kind of have a leapfrog a bit too soon, despite the generations of aircraft amaze me. But there's always this thing that is trying to eliminate is pilot error and whatnot. But still, it still happens. Even the technology can backfire on us and be our worst enemy. So I do feel that perhaps with human technology as well as computer technology and aircrafting can be is more of a deadlock situation where there's no even match in that one, I don't think. I know you guys don't like to talk about CXS, but at least I mentioned it in my Clinchfield film, which
Sure.
was part of the whole storytelling, even though in the fictional film they actually run the same route in the Clinchfield route, wherever it was, as they took it out in real life. And of course, in my version, it's a fictional version where I was trying to use some historic facts where they would have took over during the 1980s, which did happen in real life. But in my variation, my CSW type kind of prevented it from happening, and they kind of just lost contact with the outside world and kind of just disappeared. Until the branch line that I'm currently working on kind of woke up and eventually resurrected, and they eventually gained their territory back. And of course, even in the real, even to now in my ultimate timeline, the CXS transportation can't even touch the new CSW railroad. They're literally unbeatable, and they can't be bought out. They're like a private railroad, basically like Sodor.
Well, you probably know there is a real life version of Sodor in America.
We all know Strasbourg, because Thomas is in Strasbourg, I get that.
I was just talking about also the steam engines doing both freight and passenger jobs, not just a tourist attraction.
Oh yeah, same thing in mine as well.
Yeah.
My CSW railroading in fictional basically did run freight and passenger services and local communities and whatnot, but tourism plays a big role as well. That's why I did an extended route to extend that for passengering and freight booming combined, but tourism also played a big role again as a backup unit.
Yeah, they also do have quite a bit of exactly what am I going to say? They're not quite a bit. They have more than one gauge there as well, so there's that.
Yeah. Train Guy 611, you can have the opportunity because 611's right there in Strasbourg, so you might get the chance to meet her again, or maybe the first time, regardless.
Unfortunately, I live in Michigan.
CJ Jones, please have some patience, okay? Can't always put everybody in. Just don't worry.
Stupid laptop.
What's going on, Roger? What do you think you're doing? You trying to backfire on you or something?
It's the laptop. This thing's old. It's a Windows 10. That makes it...
Yeah, I know. Yes, Train Guy, I'm not lying. 611 has actually returned to Strasbourg for a second visit. She's there as we speak. You could have an opportunity. You could have the opportunity. So, it's now or never, I guess. Go and check on that website if you want.
I gotta say, I'm a little jealous of those Strasbourg kids. They got to take the steam engine to school.
I'm
Really?
not kind of jealous. I'm happy for Strasbourg for that because they're the oldest. They're basically the oldest steam railway line, I think, because they've gone, as they say
They're
in there.
actually the oldest railroad in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They basically have gone more backwards in time than they have gone forward, as they say I've lost, which is I think is a better thing which I think should be happening for any preserved railroad, regardless where you're from, whether you're from the UK or from America or Australia or anywhere that has steam heritage. Go back in time more than you do going forward. And that to me is even better because that can make life even better for any youth. Like try and live like in a modern style, but always have the past, kind of stay in the past, but take some of that modern stuff with you combined, like a hybrid. That's my way of living because I'm from the 90s. I try and keep as much in the 90s as I can because too modern could kill your look and image and who you are, and it makes you sometimes forget who you could be too. And that's the reason why I stay very nostalgic. Despite I try and blend with modern people, it's never always going to be the best way because the people we see and know today, I wouldn't want to call people. They're more like weird strangers who don't even know who they are. Because we're like living in a time period where no one respects themselves, they don't respect no one's well-being, and nothing for the law. They don't have any respect for, basically anything. And that really just gets me annoyed a lot. I live by a very old mantra. That's why I kind of stay neutral but rebel to anything that's wrong by deflecting that sort of thing. Not to mention, there's also an old mantra I remember learning once back from from one of the wrestling, saying that there is no today, there was never a yesterday, there was always just tomorrow, and tomorrow is just another day where you can do this now and become the best guy that you could possibly be. That's something I believe in as well. There's a lot of funny, there's a very strange things about how I look at life, which is a very, I wouldn't say normal, but it's like a very, it's not the best way, but hey, at least I mean well. Yeah, what about you? What about you, Roger and Salama?
I don't know.
Okay.
I honestly,
Oh,
Hey, Case Jr.
oh, shoot. Hey,
Hi, CJ.
sorry. Didn't know I was here. Sorry, I was
Well,
looking at
I would expect it when you do, mate.
unexpected. Definitely unexpected. Anyways.
Well, with me, everything's very unexpected. I'm telling you. You gotta have
Expect
patience.
the unexpected. That's what I
Yeah,
gotta
you
do.
Try and have some patience, CJ. I mean, the more people ask, the longer they're gonna wait. It's just how it goes with me.
All right. Well, like I said, I only have about 15 minutes before I roll out.
where are you going?
Just to some jobs I gotta do.
Ah,
I thought you were heading out for a job interview.
Not really.
Basically, your mic's acting up. Oh, I see Hector's there. That's funny, man.
Who is it?
My old buddy, Hector.
Oh, that's me. What's it?
I haven't seen him in a long time, but I'll put him in. Let's see what he says. Hey there. Oh, Cool Bear Studio. Sorry, wrong one. I thought Hector was down here. Can't see him.
Oh, he's not backstage.
No, I don't see him anywhere else. He's not on.
oh, well, that's a shame.
Yeah, he's been coming on and off. I don't know what the hell's up with him. I know you're here, cool man, but I'm trying to find someone else as well who I haven't seen in ages. Strange. Well, basically, I might have to wrap this one up for another 5 more minutes or so, but
Oh,
really good stream. I might have to wrap it up very soon, I said.
I know.
I'm definitely glad that I got a chance to be on here.
Yeah, well, good to see you two for the first time, Christopher. No, I mean, cool face reveal.
Likewise.
Nice to see you for the first time. But there's been no issues, whatnot. I mean, it's strange. I mean, despite the drama and the BS stuff that was following a few days back. But it does seem like things are getting a lot more smoother and a lot more better and less tense after what's been going down. I'm hoping to put the final stamp on this eventually and finally just focus on the future, you know. Because I have an idea. Roger is pretty aware. I think CJ is aware of what I'm going to do next. Because the next time I come back in, I'm definitely going to lay the hammer down.
What are you doing?
You know, I'm going to make, you know, I've got the stream set up in terms of, like, you know, about committing the final act to finally, you know, like, enough's enough. Like, if this is what they gave for me, I'll just put it back on and let you know that that's what I'm going to do. I'll stick with you guys. But for those who, like you said, for those of you who had, you know, who refused, you know, for those of them who refused to not see the changed man that I am and how good I've become since, despite all the shenanigans that I've followed since, I'm kind of like gonna do what I need to do.
Yeah, anyone that just doesn't treat you with respect, just get
That's
rid
what
of
I mean. I'm one of the oldest YouTubers. I've been around for 13 godlong years, you know, on this thing, and my reputation hasn't been the same since 2017. But everything else, and after the Freeland film and after the Aftermath thing, it was just horrible. You know, I haven't recovered from it since, but I have tried to break away. But as most people say, everything about me is always negative, this and that, and you know, and people refuse to talk positive about who I am as a human being. But at the same time, and then people kind of use it to insult and weaponize it, and then they just mock me it, and eventually those who I used to be close with, as you remember seeing in the chats, who were talking a bunch of, you know, on me, they act all like big shots, and you know, acting like they're the good guys or whatever it was, the anti-social justice system, whatever they're called, you know, that BS stuff.
Yeah,
And
that's also Justice Warriors.
Yes, that's the word. Yeah, that's something I'm extremely against. I hate it. And look,
So
I know.
am
Look, I know you guys out there and you guys listening live may not want to give two shits about it, but I'm very anti towards that. If anybody is a part of it, they're basically a bunch of shit to me. Pardon my French. Legitimately. Anybody I know who's associated is the same way. Okay.
Sorry, guys. I got somebody laughing in the background.
That's fine. In any cases, but besides all that, you know, it's just, like I said, there's just not enough respect on social media anymore. That all those that
Ain't that the truth?
For those who had supported me mostly, some of them say they can't believe they were supporting me. Some are glad they've left me, because some actually blame me for leaving the fandom because of me being as I was. Some hate me for just nothing really. Something, you know, it's that terrible.
because they don't give a fuck.
Here it is. Bam.
I mean, I may have screwed up multiple times in my stuff, but it doesn't mean I have to beat their responsibility here and there. People have their own actions, and they don't want to. They don't want to be accomplished either.
There we go.
I've made a lot of mistakes in my life.
Hashtag 21.
You know?
Right. There we go. Ha. All right.
This is two different ways.
Oh, it's like Cool Fredbear's heading out.
Yes, we are. We have less.
Oh, that's okay, train car. I like the idea.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this. Oh!
Oh boy.
Why does this not stop?
I mean,
on.
don't ask me. I ain't going on my head. But anyways, like I said, there's just so many things we're trying to do right. You know, it really does frustrate me a lot. I'm just hoping those, you know, I mean, I would like to mention some that, you know, because those who I'm trying to remember or
But he needs
want
to stay.
to
Sorry.
mention, they're going to get it. Because in my next final act that I'm going to do to end it all once and for all, to put the lid on top and just like finally just do it, you know, I'll be all right after that, and it won't matter. It's just, you know what really upsets me mostly, that all the guys I've made fell out with, all those who either turned against me or refuse to accept me for what I was before the downward spiral I had, that we were all train buddies, you know? That we loved comics, that we loved the real life steam engines, we had history, we loved anime, everything else. And we all had like weird lunars who could have masquerade their true intentions. And that's just one of the things that I find very upsetting. Believe me, a lot of my old buddies were like that.
I don't know if it was on the radio or.
I mean, some people even go as far as saying, it's so scary and wrong. I mean, you guys don't think I'm not intimidating, do you?
Maybe I saw a thing on Google.
I give up. Sorry, there's no one responding.
I couldn't hear you.
I
Yeah.
couldn't even hear the question.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
couldn't hear much either.
Yeah. I think I'm actually going to be heading out, guys.
I'll
Fair
probably
enough.
be heading
What
shortly.
was the question again,
I've got
anyway?
another thing for Instagram.
The question I was the question I was saying about was people with like you know, like people like just like those who were in the old thing. They always think like, "Oh, am I too scary? Or am I just too dark
Yeah, sure. Your
and too, you know,
Wow.
intense around?"
text says got it.
It's just I can't help it the way I can be sometimes. It's just that, you know, I want to be good and nice and everything else, but that's like a weakness. Because if I show
There's
that
also
to you, people exploit that, you know, on me and use it for the wrong reasons. And then, you know, and growing up after that, I used to get my ass whipped by it, you know, legitimately.
There's only so much people can
As
take
if I was a
before
weirdo.
they
I may
go
be,
off.
I may be a bit weird here and there, but at least I mean well.
Exactly.
Yes, Aaron, I'll give you an opinion about that, but like I said, man, it's just that's what I'm gonna do. But what I am gonna do is I am going to do the file act, and I will mention it, and I'll try my best to remember all the names as possible, and show that this is it. You know, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
do the right thing, put the lid on it for once, so I won't
There we
have
go.
to more. So I won't have to put up with any more BS crap ever again, like all the abuse that Mr. You Know Who. Roger knows what I'm referring to.
No,
So that
God.
Yeah, so
God.
he won't have to go after me again, and his so-called army won't have to, you know, just to gang up on me like a bunch of this and that, and eventually I'll just do what needs to be done. At least I'm not going to do anything like, I won't dox anybody else, because that's something I would never do, because I've learned that will just make it worse. I won't do that. I'm definitely going to be very serious with what I'm going to do the next time. And believe me, you'll be there to see it.
I might not, because I'm going to be busy.
Well, you will have to see or whatever. I might end up, you know, I might mention them in the chat box and whatnot, and then eventually see where it goes.
I'll try and be here the next time as well because I like the idea of doing this. This is the first time I've done it, so
Train Guy 11 finally popped in as well. We've got a few more minutes to go before I have to cut stop, so we'll have plenty of time. Hey, Train Guy 11, welcome on board.
Oh, Train Guy 11, huh? Hey. Hold on, what am I looking at now? I am looking at... Oh.
I can see you reading everything else. That's really cool, man. It's really cool.
Alright. Don't mind me, I'm just rearranging.
Wait, NSA must be verified. Are you telling me to... Dude, Dude, is that... Hey,
What?
is that Snoopy saying that to me?
are you?
This is that's very confusing.
Yeah.
I know what...
Is somebody
I know.
going a bit mad?
Is it to me, or is that insult directly to Train Guy 611? Because if that is, I'm not going to tolerate that. That is something you won't...
Okay,
Oh.
who's?
This guy here... Is he telling me to shut the F up, or is he telling 611?
I
Might
have
be-
no clue.
It might be whoever has background noise.
Maybe
Hey,
that
Sal.
is.
Dennis, I don't know who that douchebag is, but I'm just gonna.
Oh,
Ah, I see. I had a funny feeling. I thought he was telling Train Guy,
fake.
not me. I
Oh,
thought he was
fake.
telling. I thought he was telling Train Guy.
Oh.
The nerve of some people didn't faze me too much, but like I said, that's just something that unfortunately don't bother me too much.
Ugh, some people these days.
Yeah,
No sense of respect.
they basically
That I can agree on.
just may tell asses of themselves. Be
Morons.
something that they're not.
They're just making themselves look like fools. I'm just
what I
gonna
was
go.
just saying.
Totally agree.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that they're making themselves look like complete utter fools.
Like I said, if they don't like being on this stream, then if they don't like being on this and that, then they can just huddle off.
Exactly.
Like buzz off, or
Yeah.
as James would say to the bees, buzz off, buzz off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I know.
Just then,
Oh.
one bee burnt his foot. Oh,
2 seconds.
Yeah, hey, Sid
Hey,
James, look, no role playing.
I'll
We don't
stop.
do that.
Also, Aaron said, "Blow it out of your smoke box."
Oh god, that's not. Oh,
That's
for a
not-
moment, I thought you said blood out of your smoke box. Jesus Christ, you might need upgrading.
Okay, what the?
Let's
Yeah, I know.
down. Let's just not get bogged down. Ooh,
Oh, man.
blue.
Hey, ready? Hey, got somebody here who's saying hello to you. CJ,
Who is it?
look in the chat. Someone's saying hello.
Oh, hey, TJ.
Yeah, the ready too for some reason.
He's been a decent visitor to my thing. To my chats. Yeah. Anyways, a couple more minutes to burn up.
Yeah, I can already tell. Hey, 24, you just missed out. Somebody was trying to cause trouble streaming, but at least you come out of it.
Yeah, TJ just said I'm his friend. Yes, I know.
We all know that.
No! Oh no! The Dalek's back.
This is my
I know.
battle. My battle ship.
Exterminate!
Do I sound like a Dalek?
Exterminate! Exterminate!
Exterminate.
I
Exterminate!
am a Dalek. That's supreme right. You cannot shift me.
Oh, it looks like some. Oh, it looks like that.
Roger sounds just like Train Lover.
Looks like we got somebody else.
Train
on the
Lover
stick.
476.
No, I think he's talking about Train Lover 123.
Oh, never heard of him.
NS Rail fan just said, "Why you gotta be rude?"
Who's talking? Wait, one of
What?
us? He's in the chat box here right now. And even Ryan Mashup has decided to pop in.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
Rail
no.
Lashup. Oh, you missed out you missed out on chatting with me, Rail Lashup, because I gotta hit the road.
Oh, the rails.
Nice talking to you, Glenn.
That's all right, Casey Jr.
Anyways, guys, I will
Speak
see
to
you
you next
later.
Speak to you next time.
See you, Chris. See you, Train Guy, and
You're welcome.
goodbye, Roger.
Yeah.
Farewell, my good friends.
So we like.
Chuck on out of here. Really?
There we go. There we go. Looks like that 6-arm boy apparently got his ass out of there. Good. I'm going to back up. Yeah. Back in there, lads.
this run go? Late arrival and some lost boxcars, huh?
I was late because...
I'm gonna stop you right there. Let me guess. Got tired out on the way here?
No, MILW.
Ah, yes, Milwaukee Road. Everyone's excuse for a late arrival. No wonder you're named after a town where such an incompetent railroad ran through. Oh well. But I got you with it, Dan.
I'm clearly not a lost engine. I don't know where this came from.
Regardless of that, you're a Pacific. Fit early workers. They turn trains on an overgrown staple track. I'm not surprised they have you on that train there. You can't even simply set off 3 boxcars for another train. I guess they saved the light easy work just for a fragile, slow speed engine like yourself.
I
You are the small wheels. Why do you care? You don't even care about other engines. She can't even pull a train without nearly causing a derailment or causing disruption. I heard dispatch was saying about the train flying through going down to the boxcars. Putting someone with so experience running the main line of an express train is something I expect coming from the Milwaukee Road. Marysville.
We'll settle in the line at some point.
Your argument's
Okay, now guys, I'm back. I can tell you're watching the Maysville Railroad again there, Roger.
Yep.
But he doesn't.
You shouldn't just judge someone based on their appearance. Just because they
Yeah.
discuss that doesn't make their appearance specific to other
Oh,
points.
Jesus. Okay. All is all good.
Show your true self, a side that no one likes. How would you feel if you were being judged just because the way you look or were capable of?
So anyways, like I said, lads, I mean, it's really been cool, but okay, Aaron, the fact is, though, we don't have enough time as much now, so you won't be able to get to talk as much, okay? Please have patience. So anyways, yeah. Hang on, I'm just going to see who this guy was. Hang on.
I don't think we're all the same. I mean, what are friends for?
All I can think to say now is thank you.
Well, I best be off. Got to go collect some boxcars from the fourth line over there.
So, I will assume everything's right.
Oh, so that's him.
You go whenever you have to.
Who?
There he is. The guy who was bugging us earlier, he's basically a train fan. That's one thing. He's definitely a bit of a... Oof. Not so much of a... Yeah. Oh no. I'll just do this anyway, just to play it safe. There he is. Oh yeah, actually, he's one of the guys I have blocked anyway, but somehow he managed to get in. I don't know how he does that. That's wrong. Yeah, like anyway, if you're blocked, you shouldn't be in.
Yeah, that's weird.
611's guy's screen up. There we go. As you can see, that's your UP thing you showed me earlier.
At the rail yard.
I get it. That's the one you showed me earlier. There you go. So in many cases, Miss Jupiter, yep. So many cases, you can always talk if you need to or whatnot. You say anything, man.
Anything.
That's fine. You don't have to sound quiet as much. I know it's the first time we've spoken in a long while. It's the first time you're on the streaming, but don't worry about that. You'll be fine, mate.
It's fine.
Just trying to think about what to say.
That's fine. Don't treat me like I'm some sort of... I'm very cautious and protective at times. But yeah, I'm good. Hey, 24 PM. If you ever actually ever want to come, you're more than happy to come in if you ever need to.
Also thinking about this roleplay I'm working on Instagram. I'm working on the next part of it. I think between me and the character named Jessica from the Jessica Jones series.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, basically, PM, what you couldn't hear is that we had, Flying Scotsman, nice. Well, apparently we had one individual who came up and was being a bit of an idiot towards us. Yeah, and we got him off. He's basically one of the ones I blocked, but somehow he came in and he was trying to ruin up. He told me to shut the F up, but I thought he was messing up with Train Guy 611. But turned out he was messing with me. But yeah. So it was a bit of a confusion, but we got it set up. I mean, Price going and he was asking, why do I have to be so, if you don't know where he is, he's right there. Hang on, very much up talking to me here. Oh, I see. Ooh.
What?
I see, hang on. Very much at the time. No. Here we go. I see someone's got Doctor Who's Greyhound dog. Nice. Yeah, I know. I know Transformer. I know he was This dude was definitely being a douchebag. Hey, to me, he's one of the guys who my buddy Relfan was, who knows all too well. And well, yeah, I think I could sense some bad blood might come. Who knows? Anyways, like I said, it does bother me sometimes. Like, why do people have to be like I said, so insensitive and yet so disrespected or anything? It's almost like it's all right to be that way, but it isn't. Because every action has consequences, that's for sure.
As they say, every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long way of saying. I always just say every action has a reaction. The reason why I'm always messed up that with people that love to get a reaction out of me. Well, nowadays they're not getting that reaction that they even think. You'd think I'm reacting, when clearly I'm not. I'm just faking it.
Yeah, some people never learn.
That's unfortunately true.
Yeah. If we didn't have that in people, the world would be a better place. Okay, Falcon. Okay, Falcon 284 freight engine, I know, listen. Fact of the matter is, I'm telling you, mate, you gotta tell your buddy. I'm being serious here, dude. You tell him, don't ever let him do that ever again, because he's one of those guys I avoid and blocked. And, he's not allowed in anymore, alright? So you better put him in his place. Ennis Relfan, what you did, man, was wrong. You came in, you tried to ruin the fun, and you're not going to be welcomed anymore. Not with that attitude, you won't be. Because I don't tolerate.
Anyone who comes in here and gives crap to any of us, get lost.
Yeah. I mean, there's no point. There's no place for people like that in here. I mean, even those who were former friends of mine who tried to, you know, run roughshod over me, like if I was a nobody, they need to know their place. Because if they can say all the things they can say behind here, why don't they just say it deliberately, face to face, like true people, and not like cowardism behind, I mean, I try and be as polite as I can, but it's just that with the way the fan base is, and at times, it's a mixed mash of good and evil. But at the same time, it's really hard to who to trust, and I do have trusting issues with a lot of people. And I may not be the most trustable bloke to be around with, but at least I mean well and try and do what's right. As long as we don't go about things too wrong.
We've all made mistakes in our lives, and we all do stupid things, but we try and get past that and try and move forward. And some people just won't.
I've been trying to get past everything that I did last year, despite last year was a COVID strike out and everything else that was wrong. It just felt bad. But I will admit, I'm pretty sure Christopher, like I said, last year was one of the darkest days of my entire life, if not for all of us. But, that was when my reputation literally went into a grave. And I've only just recently come out of it. And, it's like now I'm just trying to be forced or kicked and stomped and curved back into it as if I'm not allowed to be, to come back out, which I'm out. But now I'm just trying to make a stand and just plow through, with determination that I'm not to be messed with, that I'm a much better individual. Like I said in that last stream, sometimes I wonder, am I as I said this before, am I completely unchanged, or am I forever just am I a good person that's found where I'm at, but to maintain it? But a lot of guys will just say the exact same thing, that, I've done this and that, and I've always blown chance at a chance, which is true, but I don't have intentions. It's just that, bad cases of bad luck and bad timing and everything else kind of just falls into place with me because of what goes on with me. All because of the fact I'm not just born right, and my mindset's all clustered at times. Protocol Player Well Fan Productions. There's nothing bad about this stream at all. There's nothing going wrong, mate. It's just that it's just a random stream I'm doing at the minute. That's all it is, mate. Anyways, I'll be ending this up very shortly now. Just give it a few more minutes and we'll be done. So, okay, Roger, is there anything you have planned for the summer this year?
Oh, not too much. Got a new summer job at Quick Trip.
Fair enough. What about you, Train 611? You planning to maybe head to Strasbourg, because 611 is back there now. She's there as we speak.
Hopefully this year, depending on the situation. Hopefully I get to go back to the Comic Cons.
Oh, I'm hoping to, because I've got on word that the Birmingham Comic Cons here in my hometown, they're coming back in November, but a little earlier. I think it's the 14th. I think they're coming back on. So I'm planning to go for the first time. I'm hoping to do it myself alone, because I'm just trying to get my independence back of traveling alone again, and hopefully to do better now instead of just having my parents with me at all costs, and try and be with my mates again. If there's any that want to hang out with someone like me, despite how unusually strange I am.
I think, to be honest, you're a unique person, really.
If you'd known me 10 to 15 years back, or even close to 20 years back, I was completely different. But I did have more people beside me back then. Despite the fact that most of my life, dating back from 2002, 2009, were the hell days of me. that was in high school days, and that was when my innocence was taken from me. The kindness, the great things that I loved to have been. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I still got today still. I mean, I know I was trying my best to, to look back, but there was just so many things I wish I could have done. But at the same time, I don't think I'd be here today if I hadn't done what I did do in the first place. Was to withstand it and continue on fighting strong. That's the only thing. I do feel like, I mean, in life I am still struggling, but I do feel like I've wasted. And I do feel like I haven't got enough fire left in me to progress, but I'm not giving up. As much as I try and say I can, it just drains me emotionally, very emotionally. And usually when I talk about finding jobs or trying something to be positive and good, I just, for some reason at the end, at some point, end up just breaking down for nothing. And I can't control that.
I mean, I've been trying to find jobs for a few years now, and it's not been not easy at all. That's why I went into volunteering, to see if I can then progress into getting a job, and so far, nothing.
Well, volunteering just doesn't cut it for me anymore. I mean, if you do volunteering, and for people like us to understand what a real job is, like I said before previously, if I was, Prime Minister or in charge or whatnot, I would change volunteering to a payable thing for people who have
disabilities. That would have been a good idea.
Yeah, and voluntary for disability people who don't understand the real world can actually do it via volunteering, and they earn a small paycheck depending on how long they do it, regardless of how many.
I agree.
With me, because with me, it doesn't matter how much you spend. It's not how much money you make and how much honor. It's just about getting out there, being active, socializing with others, and having newer friends around. Bottom line, that's how it goes. That's how it should be. To me, I want to do it so badly, but the fact is, I'm always concerned because guys like myself, we can make it, but they always keep on checking them up about if they had any criminal records or if they had, any of a bad history. But they miss out the real deal. They're missing the bigger picture. Like guys like us can make a big difference, because a lot of the guys in the UK that I know of don't want any work, and they do a lot of criminality activity, or they end up blending with the wrong people and become bad guys, and then they abuse the system and this and that. But and I'm going to admit to this, but I've actually been fighting with it constantly back and forth, and that's one of the last things I ever want to resort to, and I don't want to go there. That's what scares the shit out of me. That's something I don't want to do. I just want anything. Back to you, Chris. What are you saying, mate?
I've been volunteering for a few years until recently, and the amount of stuff that I've dealt with when I've been working in the charity shops, it's crazy. Especially some of the people that you deal with in charity shops. Because there was one time, me and another member of staff, we were at the tills, and it was a real hot day. There was a dog tied up outside. A couple of school kids came in to complain about it, and the owners decided, let's basically give grief to the people that are volunteering.
And if I ever see you sneaking onto other trains.
Sorry, Roger, no. Yeah, continue, Chris.
And basically afterwards, I was really, really angry because the person that I was with at the time, she was scared and upset because of that. And I thought, no. If I wasn't volunteering, if I was just an ordinary person in the shop, I'd have said something.
Just in a pinch.
That's one thing. If people really had a good go, I would definitely step up. I'm not scared of getting in somebody's, if someone gets on me, especially on a hot day, that's one of the worst things you can do to me. I've had it today. Just despite having, well, let's just say my day didn't go too well as I wanted it to. Heat arguments, and then he had the road rage people. I had to do with one chubby mother apparently who was going too fast. I was on my car like this, and I only did that just to wave her down, whoa, because I nearly got run over. And and I was looking to make sure she was okay, and then she just slathered up on me, and because of that, I just looked in disgust and just turned back, and I was I think I'm wrong. I respect women, but I'm not going to have back chatting like that to me. It's very rare.
Exactly.
It's rare I get that nowadays. I'm used to it with men, but not that. But here's the thing: after it got worse earlier on, all because me wearing my heritage cap and wearing my wearing this as well, because keep me out in the sunshine and whatnot and catch my sun. I had a couple of but I did have a couple of racial abuse because of me showing the pride of flag, the pride of British flag. I got some racial abuse for it by I hate to say the word again, but screw it. Basically by dark flesh people that were abusing the colouring system, those who didn't like Great Britain, and I was just I took my glasses off and I was just giving them that disgust look. I was just in my mind, I was if they don't like the UK and everything else, they can just jolly well leave and get the heck out of Dodge, or just leave my town or anything.
I wanted to know what's
That was just something I don't tolerate. I'm very, very proud of my heritage, regardless of what we've done in the past.
And I wanted to do the same. I worked out really hard to be able.
There we go. So, and at the end of the day, of that, Christopher, I'm sorry, Roger, your microphone's too loud, bro. Listen, Christopher, at the end of the day, it just nearly escalated, and I just eventually had to get back home, and I was just not happy, man. I was so heated in the head. And I still am now, but talking all this out makes me feel better. But like I said, there's just been so many things that you don't, it was just a lovely day, and you just try and make the best of it, and you just have all this. I can understand the heat and temperature can be pretty bad. I know that. No excuse to go after others and whatnot.
There's only so much that I'll tolerate before I say something. But when I was working in the charity shop, I usually just kept my mouth shut, and then if anything happened, talk to the manager about it.
Yeah, well, for me, if anybody got aware of, I would like to, but I was worried because I worry about making things worse.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want to just sit down and do nothing with my arms forward or whatnot, because it would make me feel it would make you feel like it was an act of cowardism.
Because there was one other occasion back when I was working in Oxfam, and there was this woman where the kids had made a bit of a mess, and the woman had already been asked to leave before. She wasn't leaving, and I thought she was going to hurt our manager, who at that time, she was pregnant, and I thought, you touch her, and I will come through there, I will come through this desk, and I will do something. That's what I thought, because I thought, you do not touch anyone in this shop and get away with it.
And believe me, I'll have had my own issues with it. But in any cases, the fact is, all I'm just referring to, what was I going to say again? Hang on. What I'm just trying to refer to is that, that's what I was going to say now. But in any case, there would just be some times where, I wouldn't tolerate for an answer. But the fact of the matter is, I think I've got it now. I think I remember what I was going to say. In my years of life, I'll admit I have a very bad habit of sticking my nose in a lot of things. But I can't help that with the way I am. I'd like to avoid. But sometimes I feel like I need to do something. Otherwise, if I don't, then what's the use of me just being a bystander and just ignoring? Because I'm not going to let the vulnerable be taken advantage of. And I'm among those who are strong, but I'm still capable of being very vulnerable in other things, which I don't want to find myself in, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's many good people, but I just don't appreciate the modern generation of 10 to 15 years behind us, let alone 20 years behind us either. And it's just ridiculous. Pardon my French, but I think a lot of the modern generation are full of retard people. And pardon my language. I'm not afraid to try to open up some words that can offend others, whereas I'm obviously just laying down the hammer with whatever comes out of my mouth.
Yeah, some people in this generation are just annoying.
Yeah, and it's almost like, I hate to say it, but it's almost like they have no right to live amongst us. And I hate to say that, but yeah, I'm kind of changing my attitude of this. I don't want to wish anything wrong that could make you bad zero, but sometimes what can you say? I mean, if you want to lay your true feelings down about the whole matter, then that's how it goes.
That is true.
Yeah, and yet it's like back in the day when I was growing up, you could say those type of things that like we say are offensive now, and you could get away with that because you could get back at people who would do it that way.
Political correctness nonsense.
Yeah, it's like people back then would actually explain their opinions, their own thoughts about whatever it was in an actual conversation, just like we're doing now, and there would be no issue. But some would like get a little tense and then you calm down and then you just walk away after that. Or if it got too much, you just did what you felt like. But nowadays, it's almost like now, and if you say something, if you don't agree or whatever the case may be, people just throw a fit. As good old JR from former WWE would say, if you don't agree with anybody on social media, on Twitter or whatnot, then you're looked upon as a big bad piece of shit, for what I was told, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, we all have our opinions and we're entitled, but nowadays I don't think opinions are what we call opinions anymore. It's almost like this is how it should be and everything, and I'm not opposed to that, but it is ridiculous. I think people have lost the bigger picture about a lot of things, using the internet for know-it-all things, but I mean, the internet was fine for what it was until I think the last 10 to 11 years, or maybe more now, it's become nothing more but an abusive online system, which makes me more worried for this modern generation who be using it, because they land themselves in deep, hot water, and of course they're coming a lot of people they shouldn't come across, and it could be even worse for other things. Whereas we're fine as we are because we've been through hell and back, but we're just trying to look out for guys like this and everything else. And they should have an age restriction as well. If you're over 16 or maybe, I don't know, like for some internets, like if you had DA, you could wait until you're about roughly somewhere in your teenage life to use it.
Yeah.
Or if you use Twitter, you can't use it until you're above, I don't know, 18 plus, I guess.
Yeah.
Or how about this? If you were using DA or not DA, I mean if you were using Facebook or if you were using YouTube, like for matter, you need to wait until you're a proper age. I mean, when I first used it 13 years ago, I was at the right age. At the time, it was a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started watching YouTube videos and that, I was, must have been about 13, maybe more. Can't remember. But
it'll come back to you eventually if it does.
2007
was when I discovered it, but I didn't use it until.
Remember when?
Same.
2007, or when I was using it, I was just 16 back then. I didn't start using mine until I was 17.
One video from when I was younger that I do remember was a kind of remastered version of Revelation of the Daleks, and to me, I always remember that one fight scene between the Necros Imperial Daleks and the Renegade Skaro Daleks, and their voices was so different. But now that video is gone, but it might be coming back in future. So I'm just hoping.
You just never know. With me, well, when I first started using it, there was the infamous Thomas the Backman Engine series by Captain Punjab. That's how I discovered YouTube, because of that series. And then you had, you know,
Oh, I
there-
remember that.
yes, that was the first Mall series that kicked it all off for me, that I fell in love with it since. At the time, I thought they were the actual TBS series back then. I remember it well. It's aged well over time, and I remember it so well. After that, you know, I discovered, at the time, the only internets I was watching at the time were YouTube and Google videos back then, when you had Google for what it was back then, not as it is now.
I
Back in the
didn't
day,
use Facebook till I was like
I was
my 6th year of high school.
I was just about to enter sixth forming back then. I think I was, yeah. And there was just so many great things I remembered. And yeah, I won't trade that for anything. But like I said, it was really good. I mean, it was different people with this and that. But I do believe, you know, I mean, I still try and use YouTube for what it was still. I mean, I haven't changed much. I still loved watching multiple things. I was trying to watch all my favorite topics. I used to watch some of the old series. I used to watch music videos, which was one of the main reasons why I love YouTube back then, because the people who made their own music videos of their favorite films or their favorite characters. And I remember the early days like the magic, and it made me discover other music songs I liked, which is why I've been a very random music liker since. You know, I like all kind of music, you know, like from heavy metal to Western American country music, and to a little bit of, you know, I mean, ever since 2012, I found love with the anime stuff, and of course, because I believe that plays a big part in all of it nowadays. But music's always been the thing that I've always been more closer with, and since then, that's just been that. And then I discovered other things that were really good, that YouTube was really nice for doing, you know, and then people had their own creativity series, which is good to see nowadays, but when you try and do it, it's kind of hard to do what they could have done. And I've tried to attempt it many times. I tried to do my own, like when I was watching Miss Over and Blossom's TNF series back in the day, which was another thing that glued me to YouTube after watching other model users. I kind of felt like I wanted to do my own, and I tried to do that back in my prime, which I will admit I had the vision, but the things I was doing back then were not quite as you would think now. It's the same thing I'd be doing today still if I had. And then you had, you know, I was trying to do other things because I was trying to get a job as an editor. You know, I was trying to become a film editor. That's what I wanted to be in the media industry, which is never going to happen because where I live at, I'm just so far out of reach out of all the jobs to get, which is why it's impossible for me to reach out. I hate that. If I was born in the city or whatnot, I'd probably be happy on cloud 9 right now. That's the thing, but besides all this and that, I had a lot of other things that I was really good at doing. And yeah, and then eventually over time, YouTube got more better and better with different errors, and eventually we had the infamous crossover era, where people would, I don't know whose idea it was to make crossovers, you know, and they would put clips over on OC as if they were there and whatnot, which was very popular. And you still see it nowadays, but it's almost rare now to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's like with other things back in the day and nowadays, it's just, I mean, it's still good.
I
mean,
production. You first.
I mean, it's good to see what we're seeing now, which is even better. But it's just that we need more people like that to keep the entertainment side of the internet still running like that. That's how it should go. Anyways, you were saying, Roger?
I still remember Skulls Productions Adventures, Mr. Conductor's Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Now I remember Thomas had so many adventures of all kinds of things. The one I remember the mostly was Thomas's Adventures of Sleeping Beauty, where he and Percy and Toby go back in time, and they go there. That's the only.
That too.
That was the only one with the CGI Thomas I remembered. Only. and nothing else. Despite the fact I've seen many different variations, I've seen all kinds of adventures. The one I remember mostly were I think the one that sticks out in my mind is perhaps one of the most special ones I can remember. That sometimes brings a tear to my eye. Was the Winnie the Pooh and Pokemon's Crossover Adventure series, whoever that guy was, that browser bloke, whatever his name was, and he would put them all together, and he would use the classic TV series, and he would put them together as one big thing, putting like the Ghostbusters themes in as well, and he even added he did the one with Star Wars, from episodes 1 to 6, which was brilliant because I met a lot of good people there that were amazing, and I was among the fan base at the time. And then there's just so many grand things I remember back then when it was its thing, where people could all be creative and have fun. Where nowadays it's almost like it's just not right, and there's a lot of underage users that are not allowed to be on here. And you have guys who are the legends of the YouTube industry, like myself included. Despite a lot of you guys are still choosing guys who not remember me as one, or they're still stuck with the negativity that surrounds me. And it's hard for me to maintain. It's frustrating, but I'm never, as much as I try and look back on some of the fun times, it's just too hard to think of what happened at the end and this and that, and it's just that hard. It's funny because you have your old fan base and you have fans who turned on you, and those who once supported you just kick you to the curb when they find out that you had a dark past, and if you had this and that, they end up turning against you. And they think that you're nothing more but a bad person and a very sick, cruel person and everything else. Especially what happened with me last year was a big example of that, but that was I couldn't help that at that time, I was a wreck. I was physically a wreck back then. But I would never intend to do any wrongdoings that, while I did say, I'll never ever actually commit them. Because I can't. That's why a lot of people still look at me in fear and hatred and whatnot. Because people they want to believe what they want to believe now, and there's no such thing as the truth or false or whatnot. It's if that's who you are, then you stay that way, and that's what I'm kind of forced to being in with, as if I'm not allowed to mature or return to who I was and forever stay as this autism tyrant son of a gun that has no soul. And that's one of the most tiresome things I've had to deal with. I mean, some of my friends even say that maybe I'm sort of associated and similar to what with, who are very misunderstood and cold and on the inside, like the way how Michael Jackson himself was treated. I feel like I'm being treated like he was, and then you have other people who were also mistreated the wrong way, and because people always make allegations about this and that, and and I just think it's a damn thing, a damned horrible thing to try and ruin someone's reputation. Obviously, but they have something that guys just don't have. Can't help but show some sympathy, but at the same time, it's never right to mess and harm those who have made things famous. Like those who paved the way to get where they are now. And I'm among those older generation fans who have laid the groundwork for this generation. Because that's the problem. You may know. I mean, we all know what in the past was a great thing that we had. And when we try and do things for the future, it's like people don't want this and that. It's like they can't make their minds up. It's like they don't know what they want. It's like we're living in a very blind era where people just cannot make their minds up. And some can understand that, and some just don't, and some just listen to the wrong guys. I mean, some people, as PM has just said, some people wanted me gone. Where would they find anything that was popular, you know? Fact is, if they don't like me being around, they don't have to bother. They can just go and bugger somebody off, and, you know, that's it. It's that simple. No need to try and be this and that, and don't be like a social justice warrior, son of a bitch, you know? Don't be that shit. That's something you don't do. There should be no such thing as that, as far as I'm concerned. Because basically there is no such thing as social media justice or what the fuck it is.
That's a load of nonsense.
I know. It's just ridiculous. In any case, guys, I think I might need to wrap this one up closely now. I've gone way over my time section now. I think I might want to wrap this up quickly. In any cases, guys, I know this hasn't been the best stream that we had. Callum, I'm sorry I left you later or whatever it is, but I will actually put you in at a time. I do have one of the streams set up for us. I'll just let you know. I've mentioned you in the description box for this next one I have upcoming, maybe. So we'll see where that goes. So take care, man. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in with this random stream of tonight. Thanks for coming up, Roger, and thanks, Christopher, for popping in for the first time. It was an honor to see face reveal and voice revealing. So it's good to know that we're both in the same country. That's one thing I didn't realize until I heard your accent.
It's the first time that I've managed to get on here with my new phone, so
that's good. Well, at least you're kind of, I don't know. Well, I would say if there was a fandom in the trains or Thomas Committee or whatnot, if you were to be with the older team, which we'll never bring back in, I think he would have been a nice replacement for one bloke who was also Scottish, but he screwed up big time. I know. If you're wondering who I'm referring to, I will refer to on a separate stream, which I will bring up about with, which I'm going to admit, which might stir up some heat. But hey, being the way I am, I'm pretty good at that. Who knows? If I ever were to recast like the guy who voiced Duck in my Clinchfield film and Other Vengeance, who was a Scottish bloke, I'll tell you that much. If you know who he is, it was Caledonian, where he was. Caledonian 2810, you know, who definitely sold his ass out to me eventually. Who knows, if I actually ever, you know, rebooted and did the whole thing again, I probably would replace him with somebody else's voice as Duck. But in any cases, I'll let you guys go anyway.
Alright.
So guys, thanks for tuning in, and it's been a pleasure. And we'll see what happens in the next stream. If I can follow it up, if it gets too hot and bothering, I may not be able to make it on. So like I said, trying to keep myself cooling down, but this whole heat thing is really intensifying. It's really having an effect. So in any case, guys, thanks for tuning in, and catch you guys another time. For those of you watching, it's been an honor having you on. Take good care. Enjoy the rest of the week. It's Campan 701. See you all another time.
see you later.
Bye.